Hello, it's Debbie Miller, and welcome to Move or Improve with Debbie. We've been talking on several other shows about life, retirement life in various cities in the U.S. and overseas. And today I am so pleased to have Lucy Parker, who has 16 years in real estate. 15 of them have been specializing in the Middle East. And she is the cultural ambassador in the Middle East for Keller Williams Real Estate. So welcome to the show, Lucy. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm excited to be here.
But, you know, when I look at the pictures of Dubai, I get so excited I want to jump on a plane right away. When you think that 40 years ago, Dubai was just a desert and a little pearl fishing harbor, right?
Well, that's it. Absolutely.
Today, it's so different. So tell us about what's exciting about Dubai.
Well, so, I mean, it's just that. I mean, the real estate industry really only started for the freehold ownership, and freehold is non-locals. So those are people that are not from the United Arab Emirates. So we could only purchase as a foreigner just 16, 17 years ago. So imagine, you know, in the US, people have been able to buy a property for hundreds of years, but in Dubai, it's just 17, 18 years. So I think it's really important for the listeners to grasp that when we're talking as we progress through this. And I mean, you know, a lot of people came over from Asia, so from India and Pakistan, to work and support the industries as they grew. And, you know, then we opened the favorite Emirates airline in the late 1990s. And then tourism really came to the destination because, you know, it was clear that oil was going to run out. So Dubai has been absolutely built and constructed on attracting in tourists and visitors from all corners of the earth, Debbie. And that is why it's such an incredible place to live and work, because it really is a melting pot of every nationality.
I love it. And when I look at the pictures and think of all the excitement and, it's just so exotic, but so modern. I mean, when you said 16, 17 years, that really explains why all the buildings are new and they glisten and it attracts all the right kinds of investment types of things. So talk a little bit about what is the total population and the size of the country and the currency that's there so that listeners can get a feel for what they're going to be running into when they go.
Well, absolutely. So first of all, a lot of people get confused that Dubai is a country, and it's not. It's an emirate. So it's a bit like a state in the US. So the country is the United Arab Emirates, and it's made up of 7 emirates. So the most famous is obviously Dubai, we've all heard of. But the actual financial capital, the capital is Abu Dhabi. We also have Sharjah, Al Quwain, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, Ajman, and Sharjah, and these all make up the 7 emirates, right? So Dubai is actually a city. So the UAE, the country, has a population of just short of 10 million people. Dubai's population is 2.8 million. So that gives us some kind of context, right?
Yeah.
And Dubai is actually a very long city. It spans over 50 kilometers, but very fast to get through it. I mean, we have like a 16-lane highway going right the way through it. So you can pretty much get to most places within 20 to 25 minutes. So that's great. And then in terms of the culture, so it is a Muslim country, and Arabic is the main language spoken, but just as widely spoken is English, if not more. So, you know, we have a lot of expatriates from, you know, India and Pakistan and Europe and Africa and all the Russian countries, and they would obviously communicate by English, not by Arabic. So that's really important for people to understand. And what I love is it is obviously a Muslim country, but every religion is welcomed. We have churches, we have a synagogue now, we have Hindu temples. So there's really something for everyone. And that's what I love, that it's very accommodating of all religions and nationalities.
I like the diversity idea. I think that's wonderful. It sounds to me when I look at the pictures, I've never been there. I want to go someday, but it looks like Vegas meets New York meets Florida. How would you describe it like that?
Yeah, no, I really would. So it's quite funny because Vegas was the first sort of city born out of a desert. Well, Dubai has been made very similarly, but the difference is that we're on the Gulf, so we're on the ocean, we have beaches, and we also are, I would say that we're very well located geographically in the world. So if you look at a map of the world, generally, depending on how you're looking at the map, Dubai, the Middle East, is kind of in the center. So what I love is the fact that from Dubai, you can fly to Zanzibar, a couple of hours flight, or to Mumbai for a weekend for an 2-hour flight, or we can go over to Thailand for 5 or 6 hours. London is just 7 hours, 6 hours away. So everything is really not very far away. I mean, you have longer flights in the US, really, don't you?
Oh my, yeah. If you're lucky and don't have to be put on waiting lists, yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But
It's very easy to get to.
I know a lot of people are listening because of what I've talked about on other podcasts about moving and that sort of thing. So what
Sure.
are some legal requirements? How does the process work if somebody did want to go over and live there from the US, for example? Is that possible?
Absolutely, and it's very welcomed. So basically, how it works is unless you're Emirati, which is a local from the Emirates, then you need to have a work visa to live and work in Dubai. And basically, the minute you find employment, your employer will naturally get your work visa for you. And that has to come legally with health insurance. So everybody automatically is insured by their employer. There's no choice. Okay, that's mandatory. That's the law, which just means that we don't have any issues with health at all. There is always a hospital that you can go to if you're sick. Now, you will obviously have to pay extra depending on the nature of your insurance, but it at least means that we don't have so many headaches financially with health. In terms of requirements, so if you're a US citizen, you would come over, you would work for a company, and it would be a renewable visa of every 2 years. Okay. Now, what's exciting, Debbie, is things are just changing. The law has just come in for retirement visas. This is the first time in history, and it's only just come about September, so last month.
Oh.
So now, exactly. So now, for anyone over the age of 55 who wishes to retire in Dubai, you can do so by either showing that you have bought a property for a minimum of 2 million dirham. And just for your listeners, that would be approximately 650,000 US dollars. Okay. Which that's very easy to buy a property in Dubai for that.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, but as a retired person, you would need to have health insurance. So you would need to have purchased health insurance in the UAE. And this is such a new law that I'm still finding out this information in terms of the health insurance for the retired visitors. I'm actually going through this right now with a client of mine who's exactly this. He's coming to retire from Europe. So we're literally going through it like yesterday, the process. And then once you arrive in Dubai, if you haven't yet purchased a property, because of course you could be arriving and you at least want to try it for a year, right? So then you would have to show a rental agreement for at least a year. That's a tenancy agreement.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes very good sense. Yeah.
So that's how it works. Now, if you want to move to the UAE and you don't want to work for someone else and you want to start your own business, then you absolutely can. And you need to go and get, depending on the nature of your business, you need to go and get your own company set up, and then there'll be an associated work visa with that. And I mean, I have lawyers in place to advise all my clients because every single person that comes has a slightly different requirement. Do you see?
Oh, yes. It just sounds so exciting, though, that they've done this, because so many people don't want to live in the U.S. anymore, and they want to move out of the country, and they're looking at other options. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity for them to consider Dubai, any of the UAE. But so if they do not have a job, let's just say maybe they work online, they do online business. They're writers or consultants. Can they still qualify to live there on that 2-year visa?
Yes, they can. So they would go ahead and depending on the nature of their business, I don't know the actual wording it's called, but it's something like a business owner visa. I mean, imagine you're a social media influencer, that's your job. Then there is actually a visa for a social media influencer, believe it or not. And you can actually enlist and register your company, and then there'll be a visa associated with that. So yeah, there's literally something for everyone. Now there's something else as well that's quite interesting, and turning to a little bit more the property side. But there's one developer that's been very forward thinking, actually, Debbie, 2 years ago, and because this wasn't in place yet, they were actually launching a property which wasn't yet ready. So, because you can't get a visa in Dubai unless your property is fully finished and fully handed over and you fully paid 100%. Now, some people are buying properties that they do want them for right now, but they're not ready. But because they haven't paid 100%, they can't avail of the visa. But there is one developer, so I have a solution for everyone.
You're incredible. You're just incredible. You're such a wealth of information.
Well, no, because I've been through it with so many clients. There is one developer that if you purchase right now under construction, we call it off plan, they only pay 20% of the property price. And we can get you right now a free business license and a residency visa from now. You don't have to pay the full 100% of the property. So that's amazing. And that's until stocks last. I sound like a salesperson for a minute, but
well,
that's actually how it is.
You have the information that incentivizes people to make the move. So that's very good.
Yeah.
And I know the weather is awesome. Obviously, so it's hot, but you have sun probably all the time. But what are some of the reasons that people come to Dubai? There's many.
Well, you did touch on it earlier, and then I wanted to bring it up. So we have 365 days of sunshine, and okay, maybe we have about 30 days of rain, but that's really it. It's always sunny and blue sky. There's always a beach day ahead of you. It's actually really funny, Debbie, because we had this English DJ that came over to work in the UAE, and he'd been working on English radio. So he used to always say, "Good morning, everybody. Let's see what the weather is today." And then after about a month, he said, "You know what? I'm not going to talk about the weather anymore in Dubai because it's always sunny." And it's blue sky.
It's different from the UK, that's for sure.
Yeah. And if you suffer from seasonal disorder, or I mean, there's actually a friend of mine who had arthritis, and she moved permanently to Dubai because it was better for her health, because you're always in that heat. So there's many reasons people want to be around a hot, sunny climate. But what are the reasons people come to Dubai apart from the sunshine? And it's a massive factor because for us Europeans, we're all escaping the winter, and the Russians, the East Europeans, even sort of Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, everybody wants to escape that cold, harsh winter. So we literally have every nationality. But the other reason, which is my favorite, is how safe it is. There is zero crime, zero guns, zero theft, zero burglary. There is literally no crime. And you probably can't comprehend that, Debbie, at all. But there really isn't.
No, I'm sorry.
I mean, it is amazing. And just so your listeners understand this, I've traveled to over 70 countries myself. I've lived in 4 of 5 continents. So I've really traveled, and I've seen safe and I've seen dangerous countries, all continents. And I used to say that Iceland was perhaps the safest country in the world, but literally Dubai probably overtakes it. Like, I can walk in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, and nothing will ever happen to me at all. I mean, it's just incredible. Like, people, we have apartments obviously in buildings, and there are security guards because actually it really, it's safety, and it's how all the buildings in Dubai are handed over. But people in their apartments, they don't always lock their doors even. You don't need to. It's safe.
That is just so far removed from anything I could think of.
Yeah. But what it means is, you see people work. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just, it's so magical